Hello everyone, this is your 5 and welcome to the Hasbro Toy Review. And today's toy review, we're looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the Marvel Universe action figure review. And today's action figure review, I'm looking at the series number 2, action figure number 30, Ghost Rider. Now I got this straight from a local toy shop near my area, which is also a scalper shop, for 38 ringgit. Retail price was about 39 ringgit and 90 cents, so I actually saved about 2 ringgit there. Okay. Now let's take a look at the front part packaging. You'll notice the artwork of Ghost Rider is nicely done. However, the colors are not consistent. He's wearing a black costume instead of a dark blue costume, so not too sure why. Maybe it's intended. Now here is a very interesting discovery. Now his name is Ghost Rider, that's not the interesting part. The background is, you'll notice this section here is all in flames. Okay, it's all in flames, and then it will go to a normal orange background and turns to black, and then go to the warning label here, and it's stated joking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years. So I assume they're talking about this one, thinking that the kids will slurp the entire thing and then choke themselves, which is possible. The bottom part here, it says includes classified file with secret code. Of course, by the time you get the secret code, it's not usable anymore. Here you got the hammer logo. Now inside the plastic bubble, you got the figure itself, and the only accessory is the flaming chain. Behind the figure is the base stand, and behind the base stand you got the top secret file. Now at the back here, you notice there's a nice little image of the Ghost Rider, and below him is the bio. This section here, you got the Weapon X Wolverine, Multiple Man, and Mystique. Below them is the Norman Osborn artwork holding the Green Goblin mask and telling you, pointing at you, saying become an agent of Hammer at freefiles.com. Go figure. Now, enough babbling about the packaging, let's open up this packaging so we can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back of the review figure and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now inside the packaging comes with a top secret file folder that contains the smaller piece of paper that has the secret codes for you to enter at freefiles.com. Next we have the character card, and one side of the character card has a nicer artwork of Ghost Rider. The other side is the Superhuman Registration Act, and here you got a nicer old artwork of Ghost Rider, and below it is a thumbprint. Now his real name is Jonathan Johnny Blaze, nicknamed Ghost Rider, and here it gets the description of the character gets a little bit interesting. Hair, none. Eyes, flaming red. Somehow they took the description straight from the Ghost Rider, yet they still managed to get Ghost Rider's thumbprint. Quite interesting. Not too sure why they do that. Height 6'2", weight 220 pounds, sex male. Now his powers. Ghost Rider has superhuman strength and durability, as well as the ability to project and control his mystical flame. He can shape the flame into a mystical motorcycle capable of traveling over water and up vertical surfaces. Blaze is a world-class cyclist capable of seemingly impossible stunts. Bottom here, enhanced human. And that's about it. Next we got a letter from Victoria Hand notifying Norman Osborn that he has a letter from Dr. Doom. I'm not too sure why Victoria Hand kept getting the letter from other characters, and I'm not too sure why Dr. Doom even wrote the letter in the first place, seeing that he can use any other means besides, well, writing a letter. Basically the letter stated that Dr. Doom is warning Norman Osborn not to continue to study or pursue Ghost Rider and the spiritual spirit of Zarathos, because he would not be able to comprehend the powers and the mystical abilities of the Zarathos or Ghost Rider. And it also threatens him as well, but that's about it. This entire letter is all about that. Next we'll take a look at the base stand. Comes with a base stand, and you got a nice little marble wood embedded on top, and 2 pegs there for the figure to stand on. At the bottom of the heel of the figure itself. Next, at the bottom, imprinted word Ghost Rider. Next to it is 030. At the back here, 2009 Hasbro, trademark 2010 Marvel, made in China. And that's about it. Next we have his accessory, the flaming chain. It's actually a orange translucent plastic material, which is actually quite flexible but not posable. As you can notice, no matter how many times I try to turn the thing, it will revert back to its original form. Now, you notice the orange plastic is there, but the section is all painted on. And interesting part is that each of the chain link itself is not all painted, because it leaves a bit of a gap there to show the orange plastic to simulate the flaming chain a little bit besides the bottom part here. And the figure can actually hold it on the right hand, but not as secure. If you put it on the left, it's much more secure. Like so. On the right side of the hand itself, it's not as secure as shown like so, because it will keep on popping out from the sides, but it's still alright. Next, we'll take a look at the figure's paint job. Now, the paint job, the entire body's paint job is very nicely done. I really love it. You've got dark blue going on with a lot of shading going on too, because you can get to see a lot of details being shown on the figure itself, how the figure's body structure is, and muscles being shown as well, and the wrinkles. Very nicely done. Really like the shading here. However, there's no shading on the face paint job, just barely anything at all. They just slap in orange paint job onto the eye holes and the row of teeth there. It's not as detailed as shown at the back of the packaging. A little bit disappointed, but it's still alright. It looks very nice though, but not too detailed. And the gloves and the boots itself are all painted in a very shiny, glossy paint job. Very nicely done to simulate, well, leather. Very nicely done. All the linings there, the light blue linings are painted very nicely done. The entire figure, there's no paint smudge, which is very, very awesome indeed. Very nice. Now, let's take a look at the figure's sculpt. Majority of the figure's sculpt is a reuse. The only thing new is the lower arms and the head and the neck piece here. I'm going to do a comparison next to the AIM soldier. Yes, Ghost Rider's body shared the same mold as the AIM soldier. No difference there. Well, of course he has a belt. This is an add-on. Very nice. The sculpt of the head is very nicely detailed. I really love the skull. The skull is very nicely done, and especially on the flames as well. Very nice. But the rest of the body is, well, the same. But it suits the character itself for Ghost Rider. It suits him very well. This is the most awesome piece of the sculpt. This is, well, just the lower part of the arms itself. And the entire body is the same thing as the AIM soldier. So, let's take a look at the figure's articulation. Unlike the AIM soldier, which is limited on the neck joint, Ghost Rider here shares the same neck joint articulation as the Iron Man with the Extremis armor on. If you remember, with the Extremis armor Iron Man, he has a really amazing neck joint. Ghost Rider has the same thing. He has a ball hinge neck joint there, which allows you to pivot the head all the way up so, or look all the way down. Very nicely done. Not too sure why they would give him this kind of articulation. I'm not complaining. You can also go side to side as well. Turn the head 360 degrees. And like the Extremis armor Iron Man, at the bottom part of the neck itself, there's a swivel neck, provided if you can actually turn it in the first place. Of course, the neck piece here is not part of the body, as you can see. Now, the shoulder joints here are able to turn 360 degrees, and raise the arms this far. Upper bicep here, turn 360 degrees. Elbow joint here, bend this far. And the wrist joint here, turn 360 degrees. Now the torso joint here actually turns 360 degrees, goes forward and backwards, and goes side to side a little bit. And they would add an additional joint to his waist though. I'm not too sure why they wanted to do that. It turns 360 degrees. Very nicely done. Now the hip joint is something I really don't like, especially on the right sided hip joint there, because mine, for my version, is a bit loose every time I turn it. Now you can actually move the leg forward, back a little bit, and to the sides. No matter what position you're going to do, That's no problem. For the right side, every time I try to see, it just popped off. Same goes with the aim agent sometimes. Now you got a swivel tie joint that actually turns 260 degrees, double jointed knee that bend this far, and ankle joint here can pivot downwards, upwards, and turn 360 degrees. Overall, I really like the figure. Really nice paint job, really detailed paint job, except for the head though. But I really love the head sculpt. And there's a nice little accessory for Ghost Rider there. I really wish they package him with a bite. He needs a bite. Yes. Overall, I really like this figure. But the problem is his right hip joint is a bit too loose. Every time you try to pose the leg itself, it will just pop off. My only advice is to apply with the clear coat nail polish, or apply some glue and let it harden first, so to create the extra layer, and hopefully it will stay onto the joint itself. But otherwise, the entire figure is really nicely done. I really love the entire paint job itself because it's really detailed, and I really love the head sculpt. The head sculpt is really nice. So if I'm gonna give a rating of this figure, if not only for the right hip joint, he would get a 9 out of 10. But due to the right hip joint, well, at least for my version, I'm not too sure about the rest of them, or the rest of the people who own this figure, but I did have some problems with the aim agents, at least a few of them, who have similar issues with the right hip joint. Yes, it always on the right hip joint there, and it has to be different figures too. So I guess the right joint there is probably, the peg is not big enough to fit onto the hole itself. So if I'm going to give a rating out of this, I'll say I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, an 8 out of 10. So I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05, and I'm signing off.